Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. This is Scott from the Nibiru channel, August 16th, 2017. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I've made a pretty big discovery on the cactus. The cactus is basically kind of like the stereo imaging, kind of like the coronagraph on the SOHO, the C2 and C3. They just simply use it to identify CMEs, coronal mass ejections. At about 4 a.m. this morning, once again, I was just, simply woken up out of a dead sleep. And, this has been happening to me quite often over the past several months. And, folks, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's somebody upstairs trying to tell me what's happening. Some type of internal light that just clicks on, wakes me up, sends me directly to my computer and tells me exactly where to go to find the evidence to show all of you once again. So at 4 a.m. this morning, I woke up, I went directly to my computer. I immediately pulled up the cactus imaging, and I saw another coronal mass ejection that happened on August 15th. At that point in time, I looked at the video. It was, rather quick in its time lapse. And then, once again, something was just telling me, okay, you have to now go to stereo imaging. I went directly to the stereo imaging. I pulled up the information for August 15th, 2017, and I immediately started viewing this footage. Instantaneously, I recognized that during this coronal mass ejection, there were 5 hours, folks, of missing video footage. 5 hours. Directly in the middle stages of this coronal mass ejection. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact of the matter is, you already know, and we already know, that this information is trying to be hidden from the world population. We're going to get into all of that. If you did not see the live stream video that I had this morning, then you're going to see all of it here today. Another situation that has arisen overnight is we have one of these absolutely ridiculous, retarded troll factions that are flagging each and every one of my videos on YouTube because this is what they're paid to do. And it's not working. It's not working as far as taking my videos down or demonetizing them. None of it's working, but I am getting the notifications from YouTube. And they're currently working on the situation as far as terminating the YouTube channel that belongs to this absolutely disgusting homeless individual. He claims to be a homeless bum, but he goes by the YouTube channel name Waptek, Waptek. And this is the disgusting, indigent individual that thinks that flagging my YouTube videos is going to create a problem for me. But it is not. And in the comment section of the live chat, you will see a direct link to his channel. If you'd like to click on that link and drop a message to this individual, it would be greatly appreciated. And if you'd like to go through the top 3 videos, the first 3 videos you see on his channel related to me, well, you can go ahead and flag those videos if you want to, because they are inappropriate and bullying and cyber harassment. but he thinks because he's a computer genius, which he is not, he thinks that he's going to manipulate the YouTube system and have my channel taken down. That's not going to happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, the link will be in the description box, and it will also be in the live chat. And you know what? Before I go any further, I'm going to put it in there again. There you go. You know, folks, each and every day, myself and the doctor, we are faced with adversity because we have so many people out there around the world that are trying everything they can to stop what we're doing. But it's not going to work. You know, the doctor released her book several days ago. It's doing very, very well. You know, I was doing the editing and the publishing, and I made one little typo in the subtitle in the word beginning. I left out an N. And because of the paperback issue, you know, it's hard to correct. But they had to make a big issue out of that, these factions. But they are now plastering Amazon with all of these derogatory reviews. But we've already contacted Amazon, and they're going to be taking care of that quickly. I was speaking with the doctor this morning, and she had an idea that was a very good idea. Mm-hmm. And the book is on sale on Amazon right now for $19.99. And the reason why we published a book, ladies and gentlemen, is to make money. We wrote the book to make money. And the reason why we wrote the book to make money is so we can pay for traveling across this country, city to city, and having the opportunity to speak live and in person in front of each and every one of you that wants to attend. Now, I know my statement is going to be taken out of context. Sound bites are going to end up in videos on all of these disgusting, putrid troll channels. The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, it costs money to rent the ballrooms of major hotels. It costs money to transport ourselves from city to city, to spread this word directly from our mouths to your ears and to your eyes. People are already making the most ridiculous statements. Oh, the world's going to end. Why do you need to make money? Nobody said the world's going to end. We are going through some very, very trying times right now, and things may, they may get a little worse. Well, they probably are. The fact of the matter is, our backs are against the wall, but we're still fighting. So the book sales are going to help generate the funds for us to prepare and produce a campaign to stretch across this nation. So the doctor came up with a fantastic idea. And she said, listen, you know, what about all of the people that do not want to read my book and go through Amazon? Is there any way that we could make the book, the PDF file, which is the complete manuscript, available for people who would like to buy it and own it? And I thought to myself, and she thought to herself, This is a fantastic idea. This now gets the word out immediately. Immediately. So if anybody that wants to purchase the manuscript for $15, you can use the PayPal link in the description box under this video. And just let us know in the comments section of your transaction that you want the PDF manuscript, and do not forget to leave your email address. It will be emailed to you immediately, and you will have the opportunity to read the entire manuscript uncut, and you'll have it. Now, getting into other things that are happening right now, folks. The CME that occurred was not Earth-facing, but it was kind of a surprise once again. There are also other things that are occurring right now around the world that are very, very eye-opening and potentially dangerous, very dangerous, related to our weather and the earthquakes and the volcanoes. But something occurred, ladies and gentlemen, something occurred the other day on August 11th, 2017, in the beautiful country of Uruguay and southern Brazil. The water, the ocean, disappeared in a flash from the shoreline, the beaches, and the marinas. It just disappeared. And then on the other side of the tip of South America, in Chile, a massive rogue wave came out of nowhere and started crashing into the shore. Suddenly, there were waves 60, 70 feet high, smashing into the shoreline. We have all of the video, all of the information, all of the pictures. Myself and the doctor sat up very late last night trying to think, what in the hell would cause this? What would cause the water to completely recede out of marinas and the shoreline and the beaches of Uruguay and southern Brazil? There were no earthquakes. Nothing. What would cause a 75-foot wall of water to suddenly arise and crash into the shores of Chile? What is happening? Things are happening so quickly that they are becoming dangerous. Very dangerous. And after the imaging that I captured this morning on the cactus CME imaging, the evidence is there. It's right in your face. And we're going to go ahead and get into all of it. Doctor, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, Scott. I'm fine, thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing very, very well. I'm a little nerved right now at everything that's going on.
Yes, I know.
I can clearly see that the opposition is moving towards us very, very rapidly. There's just absolutely no doubt about that. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, just in the course of the last 24 hours, the doctor herself has received 36 death threats. 36. That's basically one or two almost every hour. Over a book. Over a book. Yeah. We know who the majority of these idiots are, but hell, not much we can do about it. I'm not afraid of death, and neither is she.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're going to get directly into this information because I know all of you are waiting to see it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. First thing we're going to be talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is what happened in Uruguay and Brazil. Now, this headline states that the sea recedes mysteriously from beaches in Uruguay and Brazil. Now, some of you may have seen this already. Now, myself and the doctor, we were just literally trying to figure out what would cause this. Now, the people on the beaches of Uruguay and southern Brazil that saw this happening right in front of their eyes thought that it was a tsunami. Because normally during these tsunamis, if you're actually standing on a beach, all of a sudden the water recedes so quickly and you're standing there saying to yourself, wow, what just happened? And then the next thing you know, the water comes rushing in. And you better be a quick runner to get to safety. If not, you're probably going to drown. But this is what happened in Uruguay and southern Brazil. Now, I'm just going to go ahead down here and just read it to you. It says, a strange thing has been happening on beaches in Punta del Este in Uruguay. Along the doctor, could you want to pronounce that word there for me?
Well,
you've got that accent.
I don't know. And in Brazil, it's Porto Alegre.
Yeah, Porto Alegre in Brazil. Typically, when the ocean recedes away from the beach, it is a huge sign of a tsunami that's going to hit the region. However, in these instances, this has not been the reason. On August 11th, 2017, the ocean almost disappeared from some of the beaches in Punta del Este in Uruguay. Levels which are generally filled with water are strangely dry and empty. Folks, take a look at this picture, okay? This was supposed to be a water-filled beach and inlet. The water disappeared. It just disappeared right in front of everybody's eyes. Now then, it states only a few hours later, it was reported that on August 12th, 2017, the same thing occurred in beaches found in, is it Tremandai?
Yes, Tremandai.
Tremandai and Porto Alegre in Brazil. Again, where there was normally seawater, the ocean had disappeared and no one seems to have any idea why it happened. People thought at first that perhaps it was a sign that a tsunami was coming. And when people saw that the ocean was receding, they were frightened and they started to run for their lives. Well, here is the photograph. This is a kind of a seawall jetty. You can see all of this area. This was once water. The water just disappeared, gone, bone dry.
Amazing.
Now it goes on to further state there was no sign of a large earthquake or tsunami hitting the region where the ocean was receding, and when weather specialists started to say that it had been caused by strong storms offshore along with direction of the wind, they said that in Punta del Este in Uruguay, if a storm has a south wind, the seawater rises and hits the rumbla.
Rumbla.
However, if the wind is to the north, then it is possible that the storm could have the water receding. The English in here is not too well put together because this is, I believe this Disclosure TV is coming out of one of the Latin American countries. So it may sound like I'm stumbling through this reading it. It says, however, this time around, the receding of the ocean was widespread and big. And this is an effect that has been unprecedented. Okay, obviously this was probably translated. Now, I'm assuming that, you know, this was some type of a marina restaurant, maybe houseboat. Looks like a marina restaurant of some kind. You can see that the ocean's gone, the beach is completely exposed, and it marined and shored this big houseboat restaurant. Just stuck it right up on shore. Now, furthermore, going into some of the pictures here, this area is normally has water levels that are much, much higher. Water levels do reach where this green peat moss is. I believe this is kind of probably an inlet outlet for water to flow in, water to flow back out. The water, it's gone. When these photographs were taken, that water disappeared.
Amazing.
Now, they started talking about in the article about when this happened in India, right after the big earthquake and the tsunamis came in. There were so many people on the beach, and when they saw the water recede very rapidly, and then it came in, and we all know what happened after that. But this was an amazing situation that occurred. I'm going to move back up to this picture because it's just absolutely incredible to see something like this. Doctor, have you ever seen anything like this that was not tsunami related?
No, I haven't. But surprisingly enough, an experiment was done in 1842 that may explain it. And this experiment was done by Lord W.G. Armstrong in 1842, and he used 2 wine glasses, and he connected an electrical wire between the 2 wine glasses, and then he connected a DC current power source to one of the glasses, and he connected the other glass to the ground. And what happened was, the moment he connected the glasses, water flowed from one glass to the other along the wire.
Doc, check your microphone.
Okay.
You're coming in and out. You're
okay.
just breaking up.
Is it? Okay. Sorry about that. So anyway, the water flowed from one glass to the other. It was very strange. And so it flowed along the wire, which shows that when there are currents, then the water will flow along that electrical current. And as we know, we have high ionization of our atmosphere, so this may be the cause. This causes water to flow along the currents. And then we could have things like that. Water levels would drop in some areas and they would increase in others.
Yeah, this was an amazing thing to witness. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play you a video here, and this was coming out of Chile. Now, this is on the other side of South America. If you look at the way South America is shaped, you have it kind of comes to a point there at the bottom. You have the country of Chile, which has been, they've been getting battered with these earthquakes along their country shoreline. Out of nowhere, these rogue waves come in. And I'm going to go ahead and just play this now. I want you to watch very, very carefully. These individuals are standing on a seawall. And these storms, well, I don't know. I don't even know if this was a storm because, you know, the sun's out. You could see some clouds, and then you're going to see about a 75-foot wall of water just come crashing in. Now, folks, well, let me get over here. I'm going to try to get to this one point here real quick. I'm trying to get to this one point. I'm just trying to stop it so you can see the size of this wave.
My, this is amazing.
Okay, about right there, folks. That's what I was trying to stop. About right there. I mean, you're looking at, my God, from this perspective, probably 60 to 70 feet.
Mm-hmm.
A wall of water just pretty much coming out of nowhere. And on the other side of South America, directly across from Chile, you have all the water receding out of marinas and beaches and just disappearing. And you say to yourself, well, how the hell can this happen? We've checked everything. I mean, we have literally checked everything that we possibly could scientifically related to these types of occurrences. And then we started thinking, okay, the jet stream is so erratic right now in the southern hemisphere, it would blow your mind. And, you know, we may be right, we may be wrong about what happened during this occurrence. But we're going to take a quick look at it. And we're going to show you our theory about what happened. So you can see this wall of water is at least 60 to 70 feet high from the base way down below here to the top. This portion over here is even higher. But as you can see back out here in the ocean, you know, relatively calm. You see some clouds, but what happened? I mean, what happened to cause this? We may never know. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull up our jet stream model. And I'm going to show you what I think. You may have a difference of opinion. I'm going to let this load real quick. Now, during this time, and for months now, the southern hemisphere, all around Antarctica, the jet stream has been just absolutely, completely erratic. And what you're looking at here is the jet stream on the North Pole. I mean, it's basically non-existent. It's also completely erratic. I'm going to spin this up here. Now we're going to take a look at South America. And the region where this occurred is right here. Right here where my cursor is. That is the country of Uruguay, and it meets with the tip of southern Brazil, right where my cursor is. And you're seeing these inlets where these beaches were located. And then on the other side, where you see my cursor, this is going to be the country of Chile along the coastline. Now I'm going to pan back out here, and I want you to take a look at the jet stream around the Antarctica. And just peruse that for a minute. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the way this jet stream is flowing and where it was flowing heavily. Do you see this huge trough over here as it's coming in? Now, even though the jet stream is 10, 12,000 feet above sea level, there's a high possibility that our jet stream had something to do with these occurrences. Because as the waves came crashing in to Chile, and you can see the direction, going directly across, you also see right here, going directly over the affected area in Uruguay and southern Brazil, pushing the water back out to the ocean. You can see where it's coming in here. You can see where it's going out there. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the only thing that we can possibly come up with. For these two freak occurrences to happen simultaneously, water coming in, water going out. I mean, we sat up for hours and hours trying to figure this out, thinking the possibility of a huge fissure or crack that opened up offshore of the beaches over here, and that would allow the water to flow off of the beaches. But no, that wasn't the occurrence. That's not what happened. No earthquakes, no tsunami warnings, nothing. I want you to take another close look at what's happening on the bottom of the world. It's not normal. It's not normal at all. If you take a look and see what's happening over here at the tip of South Africa.
Yes.
Now we're going to see strange patterns that are coming right across the equator, moving up into Africa. And remember, I told you folks, wait till we get into the middle part of the hurricane season in the Atlantic, and you are going to probably see things hurricane related that you've never seen before. It's now starting to happen. The hurricanes are forming very rapidly in a row, in a line, traveling directly across the Atlantic Ocean. They're going to be coming up through the Caribbean and up into the Gulf of Mexico, or skirting the east coast of the United States, putting everybody in these areas in grave danger as they come in. You can already see what is happening in the Atlantic Ocean now with these vortexes. They are everywhere, large and small. It's just absolutely amazing to watch this, but in the same instance, this is very dangerous. Very. You can see what's happening across the almost half of the country of Australia. Our friends down in New Zealand, they have some wicked weather coming their way. I believe it's today. Everybody up here in the northern hemisphere, it's just hit and miss. And you wonder why it's been so cold at night in the central part of the United States and on the East Coast. Temperature is about 15 to 20 degrees below normal during the evening, during the nighttime. I mean, just look what's happening in the North Pole. Mm-hmm. Where's the jet stream? It's completely erratic. I'll use the word discombobulated. I mean, Doctor, what do you think whenever you're looking at this this jet stream? I mean, I know you're not a meteorologist, but
yes. Well, first of all, it's very broken up, kind of chaotic, and it's quite strange that it's the wind speeds are so much lower. Well, the mass of air that's moving in the northern hemisphere is much lower than in the southern hemisphere. And but for a while, I've always thought it's connected with currents in the ionosphere. So possibly we are getting more current due to some objects being close to our planet. So it seems that currents are higher in the southern hemisphere than in the northern hemisphere. And, I've come to realize that it's not about gravity, it's about the electric and the magnetic field. So to me, even air currents are associated with electric fields and possibly ocean currents. So we are seeing this change. We first saw it in the jet stream, which is some distance away from the surface of the Earth. I believe that what we are seeing now with ocean moving away from one coastline and moving towards another coastline, that could go along with exactly what we've seen with the jet stream. It's starting to come down lower to the surface so that even the ocean currents are responding to it. So I think that's what is happening, and it does, because we've seen the jet stream, the mass of air increasing first in the southern hemisphere to this extent. I suppose we would see this kind of pattern with the waves and
okay.
the ocean
hey, Doc,
movement.
Doc,
Yes.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but there's something wrong with your microphone.
Yes.
It sounds like you. It
I
sounds
don't
like
know
you.
what is wrong.
Yeah, it's not. It sounds like you have a terrible lisp.
Oh my goodness! I don't know what is wrong with this microphone.
Yeah, it's your feed is it's not. Sorry, it's completely you can't understand what you're saying.
Oh, okay. I'll leave it for now.
Okay, maybe well, let's see, we can maybe we could fix this. real quick. Give me 1 second here, and we'll see if we can't get you fixed up here.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you the information that I captured this morning. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up right now. And we're going to try to get the doctor's microphone fixed real quick.
Is it better now?
Let me just see what I can do here and check it out. What did I do with that video? Now, folks, this is what I live streamed earlier. I'm going to go ahead and play this for you real quick till I get her her audio fixed. Let me just go ahead and share this with you.
It's going crazy. My computer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off here real quick. We're having some technical difficulties with the sound. Not much I can do about that. Just give me 1 second here. Okay, it seems that we lost the doctor. She's going to have to go ahead and log back into our live stream. But the bottom line is, folks, I'm going to go ahead and start showing you what I captured this morning.
Now, this is on the cactus coronagraph. And this detects CMEs. And you can clearly see that once this CME started, you can clearly see the object right there. Right there. Now, they did try to hide this object in the stereo imaging on August 15th, when this CME exploded off of the sun. If all of you remember the imaging that we captured back in July during a CME, a massive planetary object appeared directly in the plume coming from the coronal mass ejection. I mean, do you think these objects just appear in coronal mass ejections? No, they do not. And when I saw this, I was pretty stunned. I'm going to show you the next photograph. Now, this is just some color enhancement. And once again, you can see the object right here. I'm going to zoom in for you. So, I mean, it's going to pixelate a little bit, but you can clearly see the shape of it. Here's just a little bit more enhancement so you can see the object. It's right there next to the sun. Now, whenever I was viewing this CME coronagraph, it goes very fast in time lapse. So I slowed it down. And whenever I slowed it down, before this CME explodes from the left side of the sun, I clearly see a spherical object next to the sun before the CME goes off. It may be a little hard for you folks to see it, but just before this CME exploded, you can clearly see an outline as big as this circle right there before the CME explodes. Now, you're not going to clearly see it because of the way this imaging is taken. But when that coronal mass ejection went off, once again, it exposed what was there. I'm going to zoom in for you a little bit. I mean, do you actually think that perfect spherical object, do you actually think that might be part of the CME? No, it's not. It's clear as a bell. And here's a shot without the arrows and the other colorful wording on there. You know, again, ladies and gentlemen, on your video player on YouTube, if you go over to the right of your video player on YouTube and you click on that little white gear, if you're using a computer, you can click on that and enhance your resolution to 480 or 720 or 1080, whatever high definition you can get your computer screen up to. It will give you a better view of what is there. Now, also, first thing this morning, I immediately tried to gather some information from the Solar Dynamics Observatory, the SDO, and the site was taken down offline once again. Wonder why? I tried to look at different viewpoints in different angstroms on the stereo imaging, but couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. There she be. You know, folks, you know, I'm a little speechless because once again, we're spotting this massive object. I mean, this thing is just absolutely enormous. It's huge. What it is, I'll be honest with you, I don't know. Is it another star? Stellar core? Brown dwarf? I know this much. I mean, it's not the planet Nibiru. Because no planet would ever be able to get close to our sun like that without exploding. Whatever the hell this is, whatever it is affecting our sun. I truly believe that it's affecting everything in our inner solar system. Everything. Especially our sun. Now, once again, we're going to be faced with the fact that we have this other sunspot turning towards us. And, you know, it's a little higher than the last one, 2665. That gave off a good three coronal mass ejections. I mean, what's going to happen when that one turns towards us? Even though it's slightly higher on the sun than the last one. Now I'm going to show you real quick. Let me get out of here. Oh, don't tell me I forget where I put the well, that's the roadway from Chile. Oh, here it is. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. So much going on this morning. Now, what we're going to be looking at here is the Core 2 imaging of the missing time. I want you to pay very close attention to the timestamp at the bottom and the date. This will replay. Now, this stereo ahead Core 2 imaging, this is what I was looking at first thing this morning after I was looking at the gray coronagraph that you just saw. The CME coronagraph. Watch the time. Oh, wow. Where did 5 hours? Where did 5 hours of this CME disappear to? I'll tell you where it disappeared to. They cut the damn imaging out. Why? Because of what I just showed you on the CME coronagraph. You see where my cursor is circling? I did this short video this morning just to show you this. Watch the timestamp. 5 hours during the CME. Deleted for public view. Watch it. There you go. 5 hours gone at a critical point. You know, folks, when I saw this, I got so mad, because once again, they don't want us to see what we should have saw. And that was that CME lighting up that object, lighting it up for us to see again. But you know what? Back in July, whenever that huge CME went off and it lit that big object up and we publicized it, well, we just let them know how to control the evidence. So this time, their little team made sure that they deleted the 5 hours. During this CME, that object would have been exposed. But you know what? They screwed up again. They're not as thorough as they think they are, but they probably will be now after they listen to me. Because I know damn well they're listening to me right now. Five hours gone during a critical point. But they forgot about the CME coronagraph on cactus, didn't they? They forgot about that. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? When I was awoken at 4 a.m., that's the first place that my mind told me to go. Was not to the stereo imaging, but to the cactus coronagraph. And lo and behold, what did I see? Well, you saw it. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Here it is. Straight off the cactus website. This is all that I saw. This is all that's there. Doesn't look like much, does it? You can't even really see the object because of the way that this imaging is. But guess what? Whenever you stop the imaging, you'll see it. Let me see if I could stop it for you. No, it's not going to let me do it. Let me open it up in another video player. Well, it just doesn't want to cooperate at all, does it? Now, right here, folks, I'm sorry I can't zoom in on this video. We're just having some difficulties with this imaging and this video. Pay very close attention to where the video is stopped. You can see the object right there. Now I'll see if I could click through real quick. It's going so fast. Now, it's not going to allow me to show it to you the way I want to. We'll just pull it up in this other video player, and I'll show it to you this way. Just give this program a second to load up, and I'll show it to you. It will just allow me to slide it a little bit easier so we can see the video properly. Now, folks, this is just the plain coronagraph for the CME coronagraph on cactus. I know you probably can't see this very clearly on your computers, but I could already see right here the outline of this object. It's very clear for me. I could see it. Now, I'm going to try to advance this just a little bit. Because this video is in time lapse, it makes it a little difficult to do this because it's the frames are not they're just so far apart. Now here you could start to see at 1424, you could start to see the coronal mass ejection. Let me get to the next frame. Now, right here is where you can see the object perfectly. Now, what I'm going to do, let's do this. We're just going to go ahead and crop this right in front of your eyes. Now, this is basically the picture, the still photograph that Cactus showed next to the time-lapse video on the Cactus site. Click on the link, and it takes you to the downloadable loop showing the CME and then one still photograph. And the still photograph that they showed was that. It was that. So let's just, I just made it a little more high definition. There you go. You can see that object perfectly fine. And if you think that's some kind of perfectly spherical gas bubble coming off of the sun in a CME, nah, better think again. Tell you what we'll do here. Let's just add a little bit of contrast. See if we could bring this out a little bit better for you. And there you go. I mean, It doesn't take much to show these objects. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, you know, what do you think? You know, I just bring you the information as I see it, as I find it. I've seen many, many coronal mass ejections, many over the years. I've seen some really big ones. I've seen smaller coronal mass ejections. Never have I seen them basically illuminating large planetary objects next to the sun. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, you know, you guys are in the live chat. I mean, what do you think? What is your opinion? Well, let me answer a question here real quick for John. Is it John Whitman? Well, listen, John, as I'm trying to go through this video and work everything, yes, it is hard for me to engage all of you in the chat because I don't see the chat on my screen. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? John wants me to engage in the chat. So now I'm engaging John. So, John, what do you think? We've got some really crazy things going on here on our planet, up in our sky, in our inner solar system. We've got really, really strange things happening with our weather. I don't know what else to say, folks. Buckle up, baby. You know, Doctor, are you back with us?
Yes, I am sorry. I've been having severe technical difficulties. You could say that.
What happened to you?
Well, it seems that the mouse on my computer went totally nuts, and it was clicking on everything.
Well, it sounds like maybe somebody has control of your computer.
Yes, for a while. That's what it looked like. Seems better now.
Okay, it's not doing that anymore, is it?
No, it's not.
No, you sound much better too.
Yes, I think the clicking on everything was interfering with the sound.
Oh, that's a possibility. That's definitely a possibility. Did you delete that program that Chris Potter downloaded into your computer, that Team Viewer?
Yes, I did. But remember, he actually did that before my old computer died.
Oh, that's right. Before the old one blew up.
Yeah. So hopefully that's better now.
Well, let me ask you something, Doctor. You know,
yes.
what are you seeing in these images? Are you just seeing a coronal mass ejection, or are you seeing a massive object? I mean, I don't even know what to call it.
Well, I'm definitely seeing a massive object, and you can see it's almost three-dimensional, like the plasma goes over it. In a lot of the images, you can actually see the circular outline of it. And I think it's similar to what happened on July 23rd. We definitely saw in fact, I see more than one. I see another one, possibly two, in front of the larger object. You can see the outline of the dark center of it, and then the ionization envelope around it. That's characteristic of these objects. They are absolutely everywhere. But I think it's this very large one that's causing a lot of trouble with CMEs. And of course, there would be no reason for SETI or NASA to remove 5 hours of this CME erupting if there was nothing to hide. As we know, we've shown many examples where they are definitely trying to hide the fact that these objects are here. So this is, you know, another example of that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Now I'm just going to go
Yes.
ahead and I just put this into you know, my video maker so we can watch this properly.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is hard, folks, with this type of time lapse footage. It's very, very hard to control it. But I mean, this is what they want you to see here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just a real fast explosion. And ladies and gentlemen, this is not how a CME really occurs in real time. Okay, it just doesn't occur like this. It's much slower. And why do you think they removed those 5 hours of video footage?
Mm-hmm.
Doctor, why do you think they removed those 5 hours of video footage during that CME?
Well, of course, they want to hide this. They refuse to tell the Earth's population the truth. They refuse to tell them what's going on. Because they know there's nothing they can do to remove these objects from around the sun. And there's nothing they can do about what is happening to the sun. So they have decided to just hide what is going on from the Earth's population. I think people knew what was actually going on. They would turn to God. They realized what is going on and that only God can do a thing like that and save us from something like this. There's nothing anybody can do about it. And I was going to explain what I thought was happening with the streams, the water moving away, the ocean water moving away from the coast in Brazil. And I think it's to do with electrical currents, that water flows along electrical currents. And the same happens with air currents. And it just shows that these huge currents have now moved down to the surface because of the increased ionization of our ionosphere. And it's possibly affecting the ocean currents. So don't forget that the Bible does say about the oceans and the waves roaring at the end of time, and this is possibly also the beginning of that. But I think it can all be explained in terms of air currents, and because of all these objects in the solar system and the magnetic field connections that they are creating and the increased ionization of our ionosphere.
You know, this picture just blows my mind.
Yes, it's amazing. And it is actually unbelievable that we have such huge objects so close to the sun, like the blue one that you first caught in May, and then the one that we saw on the 23rd of July. And now this may be one of those again. And these objects are definitely affecting the sun, and they are, I think, causing these large CMEs. Because I've explained before that they connect magnetically with the sun. It's not gravitational. You can see it's not gravitational because these huge objects are coming right up to the sun and sometimes moving away from the sun. And if it was just the gravitational interaction, they would just impact the sun. They would go into a very fast orbit around the sun. We don't see this happening. We see them sometimes actually being repelled away from the sun. And this only tells me one thing: it's not about gravity. None of it is about gravity. It's about the magnetic and electric interaction. And these objects are, of course, affecting the sun, and the sun is getting dimmer and they are getting brighter. And I think there are many, many of them in the sun's corona, in the inner corona, in the outer corona. They all absorbing plasma from the sun. And eventually the sun will get dark.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen sooner than later. You know, I mean, it's just, It's just so hard to say. I mean,
Yes.
just want to go ahead and pull up these different images again.
Mm-hmm.
Now this photograph here, folks, this is just a filter. It's called embossing. It almost kind of gives it a three-dimensional look. If I zoom in too much, it's going to pixelate. But I mean, I don't even know what to say.
Mm-hmm. Yes, as
You can see it does pixelate a little bit, but
yeah. But there's definitely that. It's unbelievable. The circular structure, and it's you can see it's three-dimensional. That the plasma from the CME goes over the object, and it's a huge object. I mean, I would say it's about a third of the size of the sun. Well, it's not as large as the one from July 23rd.
yeah, I mean, I tried to give a pretty good perspective of matching that up. Actually,
Yes.
my circle may be slightly larger.
Yes. Well,
than
it's
the
hard to
object.
tell. Maybe yours is about half the size. Well, that's possible. That's quite possible that this object is in fact half the size of the sun. Don't forget that the one from July 23rd was larger than the sun. So we have some huge objects, and these are solid objects. These are cores of stars. So that means the fact that they are so huge means that they were once a main sequence star that was much larger than the sun, much, much larger, like 10 times larger than our sun. And so these are very strong objects, have extremely high magnetic fields, and they are going to have a strong effect on the sun. And the magnetic fields will, of course, pull the sun's magnetic field outwards towards them. And that means that plasma will follow along these magnetic field lines and move towards the object. And this is possibly why we are getting these CMEs.
You know what I want to do real quick is I want to pull up this this mimic.
Yes.
Real quick, I want to see if anything else is happening on that mimic. Real quick, just give me a second. I got a feeling that pulse.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to just get out of here for a second. I forgot where I put that mimic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the latest imagery. Oh, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we see that pulse again.
Yes.
I was just kind of curious. Oh, there it is.
Mm.
Right over here again. You're going to see it. There it is.
Oh my.
Once again, you know, it's coming up from the Antarctic region.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, this is for today.
Mm.
This is going through the 13th through the 16th. On the 15th, it occurs. Watch the timestamp at the top. Bingo.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
I mean, somebody, you know, made a comment the other day whenever I was did a video on this, and they said it was, oh, they're radio waves. Oh, okay.
Well, it's possibly microwaves, which are part of the radio waves, but it's still not natural.
Microwaves will show up on this imaging.
Yes.
If radio waves showed up on this imaging, you wouldn't see anything on this imaging because it would be full of radio waves.
That's right. Yes.
Radio wave transmissions from all over the world.
Mm.
It would be chaotic.
Yeah, that's right. So yes, I think it's likely to be a microwave beam, and it's not natural. Definitely not natural.
Yeah, it's definitely not natural. And folks, let me point something out to you very, very quickly. Okay, follow my cursor here. I want you to pay very, very close attention to this very dark orange and reddish area of this is very high heat coming off of the coast of Africa. I want you to watch this swirl right here. I'm telling you right now, mark my words, we are going to see multiple hurricanes forming in the Atlantic and racing their way directly across. I'm telling you right now, they are going to start entering into the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't checked the hurricane report for 2 days. So I really don't know what is actually occurring out here in the Atlantic, but we can check it. We can check it. And you can see the flow of this massively hot air, and you can see the way it's already forming and how fast. Now you can see right here where my cursor is, that's that big storm front that's moving off of the eastern coast out to sea. And here we have that pulse, whatever that pulse may be. Let's just check the global too. I'm going to see something here. I want to see if we see the same pulse on here.
Well, if it's a microwave beam, it will heat up whatever air it impacts. It can hit up the ionosphere if it's directed upwards. It can cause weather changes then. So I think these beams can even cause earthquakes. So it could be to do with that. I think there is some evidence of that happening.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you can see right here, if you watch this storm front here, look how well organized.
Yes.
Now, thank God for some upper level jet stream flowing right across. It literally will pull it out. It will basically disorganize it. And that actually is probably going to save the majority of the east coast of the United States, such as the coastal areas of Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut. If that storm front right there where you see my cursor, if that would have moved inland, well, maybe 100, 200 miles more, you would have seen coastal flooding all through this area of the United States. I mean, completely inundated with water. So we dodged a bullet over here on the East Coast, folks, for now. But I mean, just take a look at this wave of energy coming across the Atlantic Ocean. Look, this thing is massive.
It is.
You know, we're worried about, you know, massive objects in our inner solar system. We have massive storm fronts now accumulating in the Atlantic Ocean, quickly moving across and preparing to impact the Southern Caribbean, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Cuba, Jamaica, and also Central America, Mexico, and the whole entire Gulf region of the United States of America. Insane.
It is indeed. But you know, if these objects have the effect of making the sun go a little bit wild and chaotic with its CMEs and solar flares, I think we can expect these objects to do the same thing to planets that also have magnetic fields. They would also pull on the planet's magnetic fields, even though they're probably a lot further away from the planets and from the sun. But they would still have some effect on and cause things to go a bit strange and the weather patterns to become chaotic like we see. It's almost, don't forget, the CME is like an eruption of plasma. And our atmosphere is in a way like a plasma. It's just not as charged as the sun's plasma, but we do have currents and charged particles moving through our atmosphere. So we can expect things to become a little bit wild on Earth as well. And I think that's what we are seeing.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I just wanted to take a look at some of this imaging because I'm curious now about what's happening weather-wise. I mean, I haven't been paying too much attention to what's going on, and now I want to see. There was the big storm that's now moving off into the northern Atlantic. This is the big bullet that we dodged right there, because if that would have made its way into the coastline here of the United States up here, we would have had some serious problems with the massive coastal flooding. And that would have came in very, very quickly throughout all of Virginia, Maryland, especially the coastal areas of New Jersey, New York City, Manhattan, and definitely affecting the coastal areas of Massachusetts. Yeah, the weather's getting pretty crazy, folks. There's no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it. Now I'm kind of interested in the hurricane forecast, because I just want to see if what's going on. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, so this is the five-day tropical outlook on NOAA. Yeah, I think I better start paying more close attention to the weather. Tropical disturbance number 2. Well, where the hell's number 1? Let me see where number 1 is. There we go. Here's number 1 right here. 40% chance of cyclone formation in 5 days as of 8 a.m. today. Low pressure system located about 900 miles east of the Lesser Antilles continues to produce disorganized showers and a few thunderstorms. The system is moving westward at 15 to 20 miles an hour and is expected to cross into the Caribbean Sea on Friday.
Oh my.
And those are very, very warm waters. We already saw the heat of the air masses that are coming off of the coast of Africa. Now, listen, that much is normal during this time of year. But now let me just take away my cursor. So what do we have here? I mean, we literally have several tropical storms, tropical depressions. What are they labeling this one? Disturbance number 2, 40% chance of cyclone formation in 5 days. There are just 2 of them there. There's number 1 and number 2. And there was Gert. What a name.
Yeah.
Hurricane Gert as of 11 a.m. Well, that will move off 90 mile per hour winds, 975 millibars, very low pressure. Thank God that did move off.
Sure.
Yeah, they would have definitely been in some trouble around here. This part of the United States, they would have been in trouble. Thank God that's moved away. But now, once again, you're looking at, they have a direct path into Central America and the Yucatan Peninsula for this depression number 1, and several different paths. I don't know. This could possibly move directly in through north of the Caribbean and Puerto Rico, directly into the state of Florida. You know, it's God only knows, and we'll just have to wait these out and see what happens. 1, 2, and 3. Where's number 3?
I think it was closer to the African coast where that X is. Yes.
Here's number 3 now. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought I heard something on the news about 3. So
yes,
this is the tropical disturbance number 3, 40% chance of cyclone formation in 5 days as of 8 a.m. today. Tropical wave near the west coast of Africa is producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Blah, 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 blah. So, not 1, not 2,
but 3. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's my God, it's you know, just want to take a look and see what they have on the satellite here, just real quick. All right, not much of anything that we're going to see there. Let's take a quick look at earthquake activity, folks. While we're here, let's check it out. Well, we have a few things going on here in the state of California. There's multiple earthquakes here. I'm going to have to zoom in a little further. I have a pretty good earthquake swarm here. Magnitude 2.38. It's once again here at the geysers in California. Not even a kilometer deep. Yeah, that's kind of unusual. This situation out here in this area of California, it's just so strange that these earthquakes are not even a kilometer deep. Hey, Doctor, what do you think about that when you see these depths of not even a kilometer?
Well, that means that the Earth is moving more on the surface than under the surface. Basically, it's a sudden motion on the surface that is causing the earthquake. That is the source of the wave. So that's what it means. It's a surface movement. And it's strange that we are having these kinds of surface movements. But don't forget, because earthquakes are due to currents and ionization, and we can even have surface currents along the surface of the Earth. So possibly the current would lead to some kind of vibration of movement wherever it finds a weakness, even on the surface. It doesn't have to be a few kilometers underground.
So we have a little more than 90 minutes ago, magnitude 4.8 in Greece, 105 kilometers deep. That's a pretty deep earthquake for this area over there in Greece. That's bad news right there, folks.
Yes.
100 kilometers deep. That's bad news.
Yes.
That's really bad news right there.
Yes, that this is deep. It's below the crust. It's in the mantle.
4 hours ago, I was looking at this. I was looking at this earlier. 4 hours ago in is it Nazi, Japan?
Mm-hmm.
Magnitude 5.7, almost 200 kilometers deep.
Wow, that is very deep.
That's going to be that's going to have some effects later on. Oh, we have an update. Let's see what's happening. Oh, thank God, nothing. But yes, this magnitude 5.7 here on the USGS feed, almost 200 kilometers deep. Magnitude 4.9, 10 hours ago, 45 kilometers deep. And this is not all the earthquakes, folks. They remove a lot of these after they get about a day old. Once again, more activity right here in Chile, magnitude 4.2, depth 207 kilometers deep. Once again, folks, I'm telling you, if any of you listen to Dutch Sense, these deep earthquakes are trouble. Big trouble. When they're deep like this at 200 kilometers, that's bad news. Here's the magnitude 4.3 just across the border in Argentina. Depth 264 kilometers deep.
Wow.
We got big problems brewing.
Mm-hmm.
We got big problems brewing in this section of the world. Big.
Yes.
It's not good. It's not good at all. You know, I'm actually, I don't even know what to say. I'm scared for these people. I mean, I mean, folks, I'm going to zoom in here real quick, and I'm going to show you on this map where this water recession was.
Yeah.
This is your country of Uruguay right here. I'm going to zoom in a little closer. Okay. I believe this is the area right here. I'm pretty sure this is the area where the beach and the ocean disappeared from the beach in Uruguay.
Yes.
Then up here in Brazil, here's Porto Alegre. This is the area where the water just disappeared from the beach. Just gone. Yeah, there's Porto Alegre right there. And the fact of the matter is, I mean, getting back to that, nothing occurred. No earthquakes, nothing. Nothing occurred out here. Nothing.
Yeah. Very strange.
Yeah, it is. It's yeah, it's kind of got me wondering what the hell is going on.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to take a look one more thing here real quick.
That's a lot of earthquakes, Scott.
Yes, it is. I'm just trying to pan out here real quick. This this won't allow you to use your little roller on your cursor. You just have to basically keep on clicking.
Okay.
And here, you know, folks, on this Iris earthquake browser, this is a pretty good browser to use to, you know, track earthquakes and things of that nature. You could turn on the plates and the fault lines, and you can take a look at what's happening. And, you know, something that I've been noticing, You have the Atlantic Ridge Fault that runs all the way up through here. Now, back on the 16th, or actually today, magnitude 4.8. And I was just saying this, I think it was yesterday or the day before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's big earthquakes in this region right here, that can cause a tsunami to impact the coastlines of France, Portugal, Spain, Africa, and the United States, parts of Canada, and definitely parts of the UK, and South America along Brazil. And here we go. Just as I mentioned it yesterday, we have a magnitude 4.8. It wasn't very deep, but let me show you something. Let me show you what's been occurring. You see these earthquakes?
Yes.
So bingo, bingo, bingo. Look at this. There's 3 of them in a row, right along the Atlantic Ridge fault line.
Wow. Yes. Certainly something happening there.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Yes. It's shaking.
Yeah. One thing I do want to take a look at real quick, I want to show you guys what's been happening up at Yellowstone. I just have to zoom in here a little bit. You know what? They removed all the damn earthquakes.
Oh my goodness.
Son of a...
Oh, well, what we expect,
Oh my
Scott.
God, they removed all of the data.
Yes, well, they don't want us to know what's going on.
Bunch of dirty scums.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just looking at this yesterday. Son of... Oh. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, there you go, folks. I mean, we can't even look at real data because they're removing it. They're removing it from everywhere.
Yes.
I mean, if we're not literally on top of this every minute of the day,
yeah,
they're removing vital data. God, man, I'll tell you, that really that really makes me mad, because I mean, this is what we're relying on. You know, if it wasn't for something telling me today, Scott, get up at 4 a.m. Get up, get up, get up. Go directly to this cactus coronagraph. Look at it.
Yeah, that was definitely God, because that keeps happening to you, Scott. He keeps telling you, get up and look.
Yeah. He's costing me sleep, but that's okay. That's okay, folks, because you know what? That's what I'm here for. That's what we're here for.
That's right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the evidence and this is the information that I've come up with just since about 4:30 this morning. And, you know, looking at the situation that occurred in Uruguay and the south of Brazil, and then what happened over on the coast of Chile with those massive, just massive rogue waves. And you know what, folks, there's something I forgot to mention. The same time that all of this was occurring in Chile and Uruguay and southern Brazil, out of nowhere, a rogue wave, not like what you saw in Chile, but a wave came in and flooded an entire beach section in Clearwater, Florida, sending people scattering everywhere. Now, it was kind of like one of those, you know, just this real kind of flat influx of water. But it just came out of nowhere, and it made it all the way up to the beach walk instantly. I think Mr. MB333 did a story on it. So simultaneously, Clearwater, Chile, Uruguay, Brazil, all saw absolutely insane anomalies related with water coming in, massive waves, and receding water from the beaches. Wow. And then here we go this morning. This is what we find exposing itself in the coronal mass ejection that occurred on August 15th. There you go. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, this is what we have. This is the brunt of our information, and possibly later on this evening, the doctor has written a really incredible report pertaining to the Schumann resonance, and this is very, very interesting information. I'm really not familiar with the Schumann resonance, but she has written a complete report on this. And as she was explaining this to me yesterday, I found it very intriguing because she stated that this Schumann resonance refers to me, doesn't it, Doctor?
That's right, Scott. It does. It's very interesting. I don't know if you want me to explain it now.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to go into a little bit of it for everyone to get.
All right. So the Schumann resonance is basically an electromagnetic intense pattern that develops in the Earth's atmosphere, in the cavity between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere. So it's definitely related to the amount of ionization, and there's a clear relationship between the increase in the resonance and geomagnetic events, geomagnetic storms. But anyway, the resonance, every living being on this planet is tuned into this resonance. So when the resonance is just right, everyone's brains and brain patterns and every organ functions well. The moment something happens, and two things can happen. First of all, we can get higher modes, that is higher frequencies of the resonance frequency at higher frequencies. The lowest one is always there, but sometimes we get higher ones. And in 2014, I think in June, they first found the resonance had gone up to another level. Its frequency 7.83, and they found that it had moved. There was another resonance at, I think, 8.5. So this started happening in 2014. It had never been seen before, and it was picked up by a Russian monitoring station. In the meantime, it has increased even more to 20 hertz and so on. But because every living being is tuned into it, when it changes things for human beings. And what it does for human beings and every animal on Earth that is tuned to it. Because this is like the Earth's natural resonant frequency. And human beings and all living beings are electromagnetic in nature. So we are tuned into this frequency. So when this changes, we get what's called stress. And stress causes all kinds of other problems like heart problems, heart attacks, and mental instabilities, mental problems. And that we know goes along with stress. And so when the frequency increases, then we see this happening to human beings and to all living beings. And I thought immediately, well, it causes stress when it goes up. And so that means that animals will become irritable. And we've seen lots of cases of animals attacking humans nowadays. And so both human beings and animals will get irritable because of the increased stress when the resonant frequency goes up. But there is another aspect to the resonance, and that is it actually gives sentient beings, beings that think, the ability to communicate with each other at a distance. Because we can read, our brains can actually pick up the patterns. And the patterns are like radar. They go out and they impact every single object on the surface of the Earth and inside the cavity. And then it comes back to that individual, and that individual reads the interference pattern. So it's a type of extrasensory perception that we get from it. And of course, when the frequency goes up, then our perception of it, of our environment, will decrease. And I know that Scott has this ability to sense things. So he's got a form of ESP. So he's affected by it. And then the other thing that happens is if there is electromagnetic pollution, that interferes with it as well. And electromagnetic pollution is electromagnetic waves that come out of all the objects we have in our environment. For example, the TV, and radio waves, microwave frequencies, cell phones. These are all electromagnetic pollution that will interfere with the natural, or our pickup of the natural frequency of the Earth. And all these will cause stress and also block the extrasensory perception that we are all capable of having.
That's pretty amazing stuff.
Yes, it is. It's quite amazing. So, and anyway, the thing is, as our atmosphere becomes, our ionosphere becomes more and more ionized, and we get more and more geomagnetic storms and so on, as we've seen happening more and more, we would expect the resonant frequency to go up. And this is what we are seeing. It started in 2014. It first went up to 8.5, a very small difference, but since then it's gone up to over 20 hertz, and that's quite a large difference. And that will affect every human being on this planet. We will experience more stress because of that. And we already have the stress of the cell phone towers and the television sets and so on. So this will add to the stress on our body. It also affects our immune system. Of course, when we stress, our immune system is affected. And so it has health impacts, as well as on our perception of our environment.
So I am part of the Schumann resonance.
We all are, Scott, but some of us have learned to read it better than others. And I would say you've become an expert.
Unknowingly.
Yes.
Unknowingly.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I'll tell you guys a quick story, and then we're gonna shut off the live stream here because we have a bunch of work to get to today, myself and the doctor. But whenever I was about, probably between 12, 13 years old, I'm sure the trolls will make fun of this and so on and so forth. But my family lived in a very huge house, and the house was built back in 1889. It was a huge 13-room house, and when we first moved in, I decided to take the attic in the house as my bedroom. And it was all the way up, like on the, the third floor. It's the attic. And the attic had been completely refinished into, like another room, but it was the entire size of the house. And it was fantastic. But my first night sleeping up there was probably one of the scariest times, as a young kid, because I could hear people talking. And I knew that it was not my mother because she was sleeping. I knew it wasn't my little sister because she was sleeping. And there was nobody else in the house. But yet I could hear people talking, and it sounded like they were speaking in different foreign languages. I was able to identify what sounded like Italian and German. There was some broken English, but I could hear these voices very, very clearly. And it kind of, scared the crap out of me. I ran down the steps, through the door, burst into my mother's bedroom, and I was, pretty scared. And then as the years have gone by through my teenage years, I had, more and more and more of these occurrences. And then I came to realize that whenever I was in college, one of my professors, actually the man who actually filled me in on what we refer to as Planet X. And, he did say to me one day after class, he asked to speak with me personally. I thought that I had done something wrong, failed a paper, whatever. And he just took me to the side and, he said, "Scott, you're a very special person. I just want you to know that." And, at the time I was like 19 years old. I'm thinking, man, is this guy hitting on me? Is my professor hitting on me? I know that sounds kind of strange, but the way that he said it with his hand on my shoulder, it was kind of odd for me. And I kind of looked at him funny, and I was about to say something, and it was almost like he was reading my mind. And in fact, he was the same as me. I was the same as him. And he started to explain to me what an intuitive is. An intuitive. And as he explained it to me, he was breaking it down because he could see that I was confused about what he was saying and what he was doing. But he said, "Scott, there are people in this world that have been given a gift of intuition, but not just your regular intuition, hence the word intuitive." And he told me as time goes on, your intuition will become stronger and stronger and stronger. And people are going to follow you in the masses. And I'm thinking, wow, this is blowing my mind. I'm 19 years old, I'm second year of college. I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about? And then he mentioned out of nowhere, he said, "Remember when you were just about a teenager and you could hear those people speaking in those foreign languages?" And that just sent chills directly up my spine. And I'm like, who told you that? have you talked to my mother? I'm thinking like, wow, like I'm back in grade school. And this is like a freaking teacher's conference or something. Did my mother talk to you? Did my mother tell you that? Because I tried to hide it. I tried to hide it from everybody. But there were so many times, ladies and gentlemen, throughout my young life that I knew things were going to occur. I don't want to say, and I don't want to use the word premonition, because I don't see them as premonitions. I certainly don't believe that I can tell the future either. But I know that whenever I get close to someone, meaning like literally standing next to someone or shaking their hand or touching them, I can feel their energy. I can feel their sadness. I can feel their happiness. And it's almost like I could see maybe about a minute or two into the very near future. I've had myself in situations throughout my life that that this, I don't know if you want to call it a gift. I don't know what you want to call it. But
I think it's a gift, Scott.
I mean, you call it what it is. It's plagued me at parts in my life. It scared me at parts in my life. But there have been multiple situations in my life that I have saved a lot of people's lives. Instantaneously, I was there. And I don't mean just like, hey, I stopped some little kid from running out in front of a car. Well, that happened too. But one Sunday morning, I was living, I lived in Miami for like 22 years. And on a Sunday morning, I was heading across the causeway. And about a minute into my drive over the causeway towards the beach, I just had this flash of a really bad car accident involving two cars, one of them being a sports car. Well, lo and behold, the minute I came over the causeway and down towards the beach, I see one car partially overturned onto its side and a brand new Porsche smashed into a concrete telephone pole, and one lady laying on the road early on a Sunday morning, nobody around. But it was a minute before this occurred that I knew it happened. I immediately pulled up to the overturned car that had two German tourists that just came to Miami for their holiday and their vacation. I was able to get the other woman out of the vehicle and over into the grass on the medium, and the other lady was trapped. Her seatbelt was restricting me from pulling her out, and she had a quarter-size hole in the side of her head with blood gushing out of it. And the look on her eyes, because she was still conscious, the look in her eyes, I saw so much fear that is forever burned into my mind. Somehow, some way, I don't still to this day know how, but for about 30 seconds, I could not get her seatbelt off to get her out of the car. The car was leaking gasoline, leaking fluids, oil, and I didn't know what was going to happen. But all of a sudden, she reached out to me, and I reached out to her, and the seatbelt literally just popped open and recoiled back into its container on the side of the vehicle inside. You all know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And I grabbed her, and I literally picked her up, ran across the road, put her in the grass, ripped my shirt off, and wrapped it around my finger. And I literally stuck my finger into the hole in the side of her temple to stop the bleeding. Minutes later, paramedics arrived. The two ladies went to the hospital, and, they ended up, I guess, being fine. The very next year, I watched 3 vehicles collide in front of me as I was coming back from the Everglades, burst into flames, a head-on collision between an SUV and 2 smaller vehicles. They literally ended up in a pile of wreckage, burning, smoking, glass blowing out. And the driver of the vehicle that caused the accident was able to get out and run away. The other people in the other vehicles weren't too lucky. But as a wall of fire from the explosion went over the windshield of my car, I felt the heat through the windshield of the explosion of these vehicles. But something possessed me to stop my vehicle, back up a little bit, get out, and run directly towards a pile of burning steel. And the SUV was facing me, headlight to headlight. So I could not see in the back of this SUV. But something literally dragged me around this burning SUV only to find a little 5-year-old girl in the back of this SUV, screaming, bleeding, and pleading for her life in a burning vehicle. Now, we all know how thick the glass is in the back hatch of an SUV. I hit it one time with my hand and it shattered. And I grabbed the little girl and I ran. And as I ran towards my vehicle, all 3 of the other vehicles exploded into a massive plume that looked like something that you see in the movies. The little girl's mother that was driving the SUV, she didn't make it. She didn't make it. So, there is a very high possibility that maybe, another power, another energy is allowing me to, show all of you what is happening. Folks, I'm not tooting my own horn here. I'm not tooting my own horn. But out of all of the channels that are on YouTube dealing with this subject matter, I personally feel that everything that I have shown everyone over the course of the last year has been pertinent information and the best damn evidence that we can find related to this topic and what's happening in our solar system. Why is that? Well, these occurrences of, me just literally being woken up out of a sleep, completely energized, my brain on fire, and I go directly to where the information is immediately. This has been happening to me for the last year. But being a highly intuitive person, well, that's been the majority of all my life. And now, once again, just like God placed me in the situations to, save people's lives, it has to be destiny. Several years ago, I went to visit my grandmother in the high-rise apartment that she lived in, just to, sit down on a cold November evening and have some dinner with her. She was cooking some pasta, great meatballs. And as me and my grandmother were sitting down at her table in her high-rise apartment, 10 stories. She lived on the 3rd floor. And all of a sudden, I said to my grandmother, I said, hey, hey, Nan, are you burning something on the stove? She said, no, everything's off. Now I said, what is that smell? She said, I don't smell anything. I said, yeah. I said, I can smell burning plastic. And she said, honey, I don't smell anything. Just eat your meatballs. Hmm. 2 seconds later, I jumped up. I ran out into the hallway of her apartment. And I didn't see anything. There was no smoke in the hallway. And about 5 seconds later, one of my grandmother's elderly neighbors comes flying out of her apartment door, just dressed in a little nightgown, screaming, my apartment's on fire. My apartment's on fire. And then, this apartment building, they had those steel doors on the apartments. Everything was, concrete block, even the inner walls. And there was a little button inside of the door that if you had that button pushed, the door would automatically lock. Well, when the lady ran out into the hallway, frantic about her apartment being on fire, she forgot her key and the door locked. I didn't realize the type of fire that she had going on inside of her apartment. But maybe I was in the right place at the right time, because I pulled the fire alarm. Nothing happened. No sprinklers, no alarm, nothing. 20 apartments per floor, 10 stories high. Everybody in the building is elderly. That's what the building's for. I got my grandmother out and in the elevator and sent downstairs. I started running from apartment to apartment, literally grabbing people out of their chairs, off their sofas. I was beaten over the head by several elderly people that didn't know what was happening. Saved a cat. I even pulled one elderly lady off of the toilet in her apartment, reading the newspaper. I almost made her have a heart attack, but I threw her over my shoulder and I got her out of her apartment. I had one fight with an elderly man who was sitting in his lazy boy chair, kicking back with his oxygen mask on and telling me that he wanted to die, just to leave him alone. And I said, you know what, sir? You're not dying today. Get your ass up. Let's go. I was going from floor to floor, almost dropping unconscious myself, because all of the hallways were filling up with smoke. And I mean heavy smoke. And then as I was running down the hall, I literally bumped into this little frail, skinny old lady. She maybe weighed 90 pounds, standing there in her little pink nightgown. trying to push the button on the elevator, and she was choking to death. I picked her up. I ran from one end of the hallway all the way to the fire escape. And as I opened up the fire escape, the fire chief was standing there with his big oxygen mask on and his fireman's hat and his tank on his back. And he said to me, "Where's the fire?" And I said, "Apartment 303, but you're not going to get in. It's a steel door. It's locked." And then I took the old lady down a few flights of stairs, and some paramedics were there, and they took her. I turned around for some unknown reason, but now I know the reason why I turned around. And I went back up those stairs into the hallway where I bumped into the fire chief. I was there that day to save his life because his oxygen apparatus failed and he had a mild heart attack. He was laying face down in the hallway, and as I was running down the hallway, I literally tripped and fell over top of him. He was a big man, but God gave me the strength to drag him about 40 feet down the hallway by the collar of his fire jacket to the fire escape, which is just an inner stairwell in the building, only to finally see loads of firemen coming up the steps. The fire chief lived to see another day. He thanked me several days later, went to see him in the hospital. I was on every news station, around my area, deemed, they estimated that I saved about 75 people, including a cat. When no sprinkler systems were working, no inner fire alarm bells, no strobe lights for the elderly people inside of their apartments. They had a strobe light in each room that would go off in case they didn't hear. So on that day, God put me in the right place at the right time again. And I was deemed and hailed a hero, and I don't look at it that way. I was just happy enough to save my grandmother's life. And that kitty cat. That cat bit the hell out of me too. I couldn't catch it. I had to reach under a sofa and grab it by its neck, and it bit the living hell out of me. I still have the scars on my hand from that cat bite.
Mm-hmm.
And this was in the dead of November, raining outside, freezing cold, and just about every single tenant in the building was displaced that night, and they all slept at the fire station in the fire hall. I had to go to the hospital, from smoke inhalation. I mean, I was coughing up black stuff for days and days afterwards. So maybe there is something to all of this, folks.
Mm-hmm. I think there definitely is. I think you're an amazing person, Scott, and I think God has given you a mission to do, like he has given me a mission, and that's why he put us together to do this work. And it's definitely he's given you an amazing gift, and you've used it well, and you are prepared to put your life in danger for the sake of others, and that's admirable. And I'd just like to thank you for being like that.
Well, doctor, I mean, you know me well enough now.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do have a big heart.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do.
I just truly wish that there was more that I could do.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't do anything more than show you what is happening, what is out there, what we are faced with. That's it. I mean, I am beaten down by the opposition, as I call it, every single minute of the day, because they call it a fraud. They call me a criminal. They call me a fearmonger. They call me every name in the book, and some I've never even heard of before. And I've been on this earth 49 and a half years. I don't understand why these others cannot just open up their eyes for 1 minute and stop with their shenanigans, stop with their stupidity, take the blinders off, and see it for yourself. And I'm not allowed to take this information to the world population because myself and the doctor and many others are being curtailed, stopped, roadblocks in our way. For what? For what purpose do you want to stop us from informing people about what is happening? Why stop the doctor from bringing the science to you and breaking it down into layman's terms so you can understand it? My question is, what is the big deal? You know, ladies and gentlemen, I have people on my back 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, non-stop. I wish I could share the emails with you. I should. I have the likes of these ridiculous individuals that spend morning, noon, and night making ridiculous videos about me, about the doctor. You know, they every now and then they pick somebody else out just for a minute. But all of their attention is on me and the doctor. Well, why do you think that is? If this is all fakery and it's all nothing but a pack of lies, well, why are you busting my balls 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Why are you trying to distract everybody? Because you're not doing a good job. And I think the majority of what you do towards me is pretty stupid and funny, and I laugh at you. You don't scare me, and you're not scaring the doctor anymore. But I'm going to continue each and every day doing what I do because this is my calling until I take my last breath on this planet, in this life. This is what I will do. I don't care what anybody says, and I don't care what anybody does to me. I'm here not just for myself and my existence, because if I was, I wouldn't care about putting this much time into making the videos, holding the live streams, giving you the evidence, if that's all that I cared about was myself. Because I've never been a selfish person. Never. I wasn't brought up to be that way. So I'm giving myself to each and every one of you as a friend, not just some guy on YouTube spouting off at the mouth about what's in the inner solar system. We're all in this together, folks. It's just the way that it is. We may not know each other. Like I've said before, we may never stand in front of each other and shake each other's hand and give each other a hug. We may never sit down and break bread. But maybe sometime in the future, in a situation where crazy things are happening and you don't have an understanding about what is occurring, and maybe you think back about one of these live streams or one of those videos, and you say to yourself, that's what Scott was talking about. That's what the doctor was talking about. This is what they meant. And then you'll know immediately what to do. You'll know immediately how to react. Because I truly believe that all of us are enlightened. All of us. We just have to learn how to focus on it and use it. These are very, very tremendously strange things that are occurring around the world. And I know that each and every one of you never thought in this lifetime that you would be sitting where you are right now. Whether you're watching this on a cell phone, your computer, or your television, I don't think any of you ever thought that this is what you would be doing in this time, right now. Viewing and watching this information and watching everything around the world unfold. Some people say, I'm scared to death. But don't be scared. Be prepared. Like the doctor tells each and every one of you all the time at the end of our live streams, have your faith. Because in the end, folks, that's all that we're going to have, that faith. And that faith will tell you exactly what to do at that precise moment that you may question yourself. And that will only last for a split second. We are all meant to be here, right where we are at. I truly believe that. But those are my thoughts. I'm sure all of you have your own. Now, folks, listen, real quick. I mentioned in the beginning of this live stream about the idea that the doctor had about getting a hold of her book and making the original transcript available. If you didn't want to go to Amazon and you didn't want to buy the book, because it's very interesting. 10 chapters of how Dr. Albers started with her observations, what she went through to where she's at now. It's an incredible read with a lot of diagrams and photographs that are very, very interesting. And she breaks the science down. If you want immediate access to the manuscript, there's a $15 charge. You can use the PayPal account in the description box. In the comments below that transaction on PayPal, just let us know your email address. And you want the manuscript. You will get it within an hour in a PDF file emailed directly to you. It's an incredible story. It's a heartwarming story. It's a scientific story. But if you want access to the manuscript instead of the book, that $15 charge, we're going to put forth everything related to the book sales to coordinate the public speaking engagements so we can kick these off ASAP, city to city. Because if you know anything about holding these types of engagements, yes, you have to rent, big ballrooms or, auditoriums in hotels, things of that nature that can handle 100, 200, 300 people. A complete presentation we're going to put together from beginning to end of what is happening. And that would therefore give you a chance to meet us in person and see everything uncut, uncensored, in real life. And yes, it takes money to organize these things. I'm not ashamed of it, but that's the way that it is. And we needed another avenue to get this information out to the masses, because YouTube's not cutting it. Facebook and Twitter, the social medias are not cutting it. The book is available worldwide. But now each and every one of you will have access to the manuscript in a PDF file, and you can read it at your leisure. And then hopefully in the next 30 days, I'm going to have my book finished. And my book's going to blow the freaking lid off of all of this. Even though you are here at my channel every day, watching my videos, watching the information, and sitting here with us in the live streams, there's a lot that I cannot say here on YouTube. But I'll say it in my book. And when I'm standing there publicly, speaking with each and every one of you, as well as the doctor speaking with you, I'm going to say what I want to say, and no one is going to shut me up. Not on my forum and my platform. Because I think each and every one of us has the right to know exactly what is occurring. We are human beings, not animals. And I have more respect for animals than I do some of these human beings that are getting in my way. But it's not going to work. Also, ladies and gentlemen, the doctor has, Doctor, how many reports have you completely prepared for public use?
I have 22 now, Scott. 22 reports.
Okay. We are going to publicize a list of all 22 reports. I will put that in a video format. I will get it uploaded to my channel, the Planet X News channel, and the doctor's channel. We still have hundreds of people that are purchasing the reports, her individual reports, and utilizing them on their YouTube channels to get this word out. And it's working very well. So if any of you want to participate in that, that opportunity will always be there. We will post the list of the reports, their names, and it's very easy to take care of. But the more we band together, folks, the stronger we're going to be. That much is a fact. And that is one of the opposition's biggest fears. They don't want to see that type of unity. They want to see division and doubt. Don't let it happen. Don't fall prey to it. Even though we may be going through some very trying times now and in the future, our powers are in numbers, helping people, helping people who need the help. I know this much. I'm going to be there no matter what.
Yeah.
So, folks, if you really do want to help us and you were thinking about purchasing the book, if you'd rather have the book, go straight through Amazon. If you want to have the original transcript, manuscript, just drop us a line through the PayPal account. The link's in the description box. $15 for the manuscript. We'll get it emailed to you in a PDF file within the hour. And then we'll go from there. As soon as we have enough organization set up to do our first public speaking engagement and have that all prepared, everybody will know. And we hope to make it to each and every one of your cities. I'd like someday to put a handshake and a hug together with, all of the little YouTube faces that I see in the live chat, one-on-one with all of us. Oh, there's RN Kim, our nurse. Hey, Kim, I'd like to personally thank you. Even though we don't know each other, I can feel it straight through the YouTube. You're a solid friend. I definitely appreciate that. And hopefully someday we get to sit down together and say hello face to face. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some interesting times coming up. I've mentioned this frequently. We have this total solar eclipse coming up, August 21st. We have the date of September 23rd coming up quickly. And then we have this asteroid flyby, 2012 TC4. Supposedly making a pass at approximately 4,200 miles above the surface of the Earth. Size of the asteroid between 30 and 100 feet. NASA doesn't know. An imminent war with Korea. Weather systems around the world out of control. Governments around the world panicking. It seems that all of the odds are against us. But if you think back even 10,000 years, the odds were always against mankind. But here we are. Here we are. In the year of 2017, man has survived. Man's tough. And we have evolved. So everything that we are going through, and possibly what we will go through, will evolve our faith and our species even further. And if you want to think about it, each and every one of us, we're part of it. We are once again part of this thing we call life. Very interesting. I thought I'd share that with all of you. Once again, just my thoughts. Doctor, any last thoughts for you?
Well, as usual, Scott, I'd like to thank everybody for their support, and I'd like to thank you for all your help. You've just been wonderful, and I know I can always rely on you to help me with everything, and I'd like to thank you for that. And I'd like to tell everybody that we are going through hard times, and possibly it will get harder, but we do have a creator, and he's always prepared to help every one of us. And we should just get to know him and look to him. And this is a good time. And all these signs may be scary, but he's basically telling all of us, his children, to come home and be with him and get to know him. And I think that's the message that he wants all of us to hear. So, yeah, I think that's what you should do. Just grow in faith and in the confidence, not in yourself, but in the one who has created us and is there for us.
Couldn't have said it any better myself, Doctor. It's always a pleasant sound hearing you utter those words. You know, I just want to mention real quick, RN Kim, if you're out there listening to me real quick, do me a favor, and I need your email address. RN Kim, she's already purchased the manuscript. And Kim, I just need your email address, and I will get that off to you ASAP. You can send your email to nibiru2016@gmail.com, and we'll get that manuscript off to you within the next hour. Also, folks, like I said, if any of you in the very, very near future, you don't want to, order the book through Amazon, just go to the description box, click on the PayPal link for Planet X News, $15 charge for the manuscript, include your email address, and just put in there, manuscript, in your comment, send it off, and it will appear in your email within the hour. And you'll have access to it in a PDF file. But myself and the doctor, we really, really do want to get out there. We want to move away from YouTube. We want to get out there in the public eye, face to face, on stage with everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could fill up a damn stadium of 75,000 people and put this information on a damn jumbotron, I will. I will. The majority of you already know my personality. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank each and every one of you once again for being with us, taking your time to view the evidence. Once again, being exposed by a coronal mass ejection on the sun. And it only makes you wonder, what are we going to see during this total eclipse coming up? If they do not chemtrail the living hell out of the sky or produce some type of false flag situation. Make sure you're all watching. Make sure you have your cameras, your video cameras, your cell phone, whatever means of documentation that you're going to have at the time when this eclipse passes through your neck of the woods here in the United States. Be ready. Be prepared. It's going to be some very interesting times coming up, folks. And I want all of you to stick with us. Share our videos, share our live streams with your friends and family members on Facebook and Twitter. It helps get the word out. That's all we ask. Hopefully, depending on our scheduling, maybe early this evening, maybe 7 or 8 o'clock this evening, Eastern time, we'll get back together with the doctor, and she can go over this fantastic report that she has on this Schumann resonance. I think it's very, very interesting. And if any of you missed any of her reports, the doctor has her own YouTube channel. The link is in the description box, and it is also on my main channel over in the featured channels area off to the right. Click on her avatar. It takes you right to her YouTube channel. She's been doing a fantastic job. Well, Doctor, I'd like to thank you once again for being here with us. Thank you for your time. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and end this live stream. But the evidence is there once again today. Very, very strange times that we are in. And I could definitely see that we are going to have even more interesting times coming up very, very soon. There's no doubt about it. But anyways, folks, thanks for being with us. You all take care. This is Scott from Planet X News and the Nibiru channel, and also our rogue physicist, Dr. Claudia Albers. Thank you for watching.